What's going on, everybody? Curtis Wilkerson with HawgSports.com coming to you from Bud Walton Arena. We're down in the basement. I got Jalen Williams with me here. Just kidding, it's cardboard cutout. I wish he was here. What a night. Arkansas knocks off number 1 Auburn, 80-76 in overtime. This game was an instant classic. I'm almost speechless. It's hard to sit up here and talk about what we just witnessed. What an incredible game. You know, it's just a number, right? That's what this guy, Jalen Williams, said about Auburn's number 1 ranking in the lead up to the game. It's just a number. It's just the next game on the schedule. They're going to prepare the same way, regardless of who they play. Fair? But maybe that number 1 should have been in front of Arkansas's name tonight. Number 1 because of the way they played. Number 1 because it's the first time that Arkansas has hosted and beaten an AP-ranked number 1 team inside Bud Walton Arena, which is crazy to think about, given the history of this building and some of the teams that have come through here and played the Razorbacks. Unbelievable. Number 1 for the number 1 fan base in America, because what Bud Walton Arena had going on tonight was special. You don't see that anywhere else. 20,000 strong, and the place was an absolute madhouse. It was a blast. Anyone who was here and witnessed that left the building tonight with memories that they're going to carry with them and cherish forever. When it comes to college sports, any sports, it doesn't get any better than what happened in here tonight. Unbelievable. The crowd 100% impacted this game. 100%. I couldn't even hear myself think. I couldn't type throughout the course of the game. How could Auburn think and execute at a high level? It was deafening. It was constant. It was impressive. And kudos to Arkansas for handling it the right way. You see a lot of times home teams in this situation who maybe get a little too caught up in the hype, they come out kind of flat, fall behind early. Arkansas didn't do that. In fact, they landed the first punch, built up a 23-13 lead midway through the first half. Sometimes they expel so much energy in the early portions of the game because there's just so much emotion that's involved in this type of atmosphere that maybe you run out of gas down the stretch. Arkansas didn't do that. No, in fact, they had all the juice they needed to get the game to overtime and to come out on top. They absolutely refused to lose tonight. This team is so damn tough, so gritty. And it's about time for people to start putting some respect back on Arkansas's name. Maybe they are who we thought they were going into the season. They hit a bump in the road, but the way they've been playing lately, 9 consecutive wins, 19-5 overall, 8-3 in the SEC, and you just notched what's there's no question. This is the biggest resume win that anybody in the country can boast right now. And that was the one thing lacking, right? Where's that signature win? Got it tonight. Unbelievable. And listen, it was a war. Auburn's legit. They're number 1 in the country for a reason. That's a very good, very talented team. Walker Kessler is an animal. He flirted with a triple-double. He's an NBA player. Jabari Smith, incredible talent. 6'10", he plays like Kevin Durant for a college player. He's going to be not only a lottery pick, he's going to be top 3, maybe the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Wendell Green, that's a very good team. But Arkansas's got that grit. They've got that grit. And they were a little ticked off extra coming into it because before the game, Auburn as a team had a dance party mid-court on the Razorback logo. You see that from time to time. Teams get hyped before games, right? It's not a big deal. A lot of times you do that in your own paint, on your own end. But when you take it to mid-court and you do it on top of the Hog, don't be surprised when they take it personal. And they did. I tweeted it out. The video was out there. Interestingly enough, the Razorback staff saw it. They showed it to the Hogs before the game. A little extra added fuel to the fire as if they needed that on a night like tonight. That's okay to do that at the beginning of the game before it starts, because when it ended, it was the Razorbacks that were doing the dancing tonight. Unbelievable game. Back and forth. I took a few notes here. It's interesting, Arkansas was crushed on the glass early. They were minus 18 in the first half. That's a lot. It's tough to overcome, 11-0 on offensive boards, but they did a really nice job of settling down and being aggressive on the glass while still getting back in transition, which was a heavy emphasis. So in the second half and overtime, Arkansas was actually only -2 on the glass. So they cut into that, did a lot better, but still at the end of the day, they allowed 60 defensive rebounds, which I've never heard of, 24 offensive rebounds, and 22 points on second chance opportunities. Well, how did Arkansas overcome that? Well, it starts by playing incredible defense. They held Auburn. This isn't some of the other teams Arkansas has been playing lately. This is the number one team in the country, very potent scoring offense. Arkansas held them to 37.5% from the field over 45 minutes. It's very difficult to do, and that number would have been even lower had Arkansas been able to secure the occasional defensive rebound and close a possession. So it was a job well done by the Razorbacks on the defensive end. They limited Auburn to just 8 assists, forced 19 turnovers. So if you're going to give up 22 second chance points, how do you overcome it? You force 19 turnovers and you turn it into 24 points of your own on the other end. That was huge. Got to the free throw line 32 times. They were relentless on the attack, getting to the charity stripe, 26 of 32 from the free throw line, and they hit some big ones, some clutch ones. 15 ties and 17 lead changes. Talk about a game of emotion, right? 15 ties and 17 lead changes. That's incredible. Arkansas was down 5 in the last couple minutes. The game was tied at 59 with about 3:40 to go. Auburn comes out of the timeout. They go on a 5-0 run, build up a 5-point lead. And you didn't necessarily feel good about where Arkansas was sitting at that point, but they fought, they scratched, they clawed, and it was interesting. As they fought back into the game, they got back in it by making defensive stops and knocking down free throws. They knocked down 5 free throws, and the only basket they made during that period was a drop-off layup to Jalen Williams with 22.2 seconds left, tied the game at 66, and eventually sent it into overtime. So then you go into the overtime period, and Arkansas makes one shot. But again, they were relentless getting to the stripe, 11 of 14 from the free throw line, and they made some clutch ones in that overtime period. J.D. Notae finished with 28 points in this game. That's the most that an Arkansas Razorback player has scored against the number one team. 7 of 20 from the field, so maybe not as efficient as you'd like him to be. Okay, but he got to the free throw line 14 times. The common theme here, the free throw line. Knocked down 11 of 14. He had 4 blocks as a 6'2 guard against one of the biggest teams in the country. I thought that was an interesting stat, but it goes to show that he's a two-way player. Jalen Williams and Au'Diese Toney logged double-doubles in this game. Williams, I think he was only about 3 of 9 from the floor, but again, he had that huge bucket down the stretch. First of all, he had a hell of a matchup against Kessler, but he had that huge bucket down the stretch that tied it in regulation to send it to overtime. He hit 5 free throws in the overtime period and continues to do his thing as a rebounder and a defender. Au'Diese Toney did most of his work in the second half. Super aggressive going to the offensive glass. Several key putbacks. He was defending Wendell Green for large chunks of time. Devo Davis, huge off the bench. He had 10 points. It was a nice breakout game for him. Knocked down a couple big threes, made some key defensive plays. If you add confident Devo to what this team has going on right now, they're going to be tough to beat. Chris Lykes has been really good the last couple games. Not as solid as he has been in this game against Auburn tonight, but you know what? He came in cold, ice cold, late in the game. He hadn't played in probably an hour of real time. He knocks down 2 free throws, clutch ones. It's senior leadership, and it's good stuff. It wasn't pretty, but these games don't always have to be that way. And that's the thing about this Arkansas team. They find different ways to win. The constant has been defense, and that's what got the job done tonight. Signature win, right? Embrace it. A lot of people made a big deal about the court storming or the potential of that leading up to this game. And I get it, right? Act like you've been there before. respect the history and the tradition of the program, and all those things are true. But it's about the players, to me, and what they've gone through, and how they've battled, and what they've earned. And I also think it has to happen organically. If you're going to storm the court, do it in an overtime win and a nail-biter over the number 1 ranked team in the country. I wasn't sure how I'd feel about it, but it felt right to me. And the players loved it. The players deserved it, and that's something they're going to be able to carry with them the rest of their lives. They might not get a better experience than that in their athletic careers unless they cut down the nets in New Orleans in a couple months. It was a special night. It was one that Arkansas fans should be proud of. Eric Musselman should be proud of, but you know what? Those guys are going to wake up tomorrow, they're going to turn the page, and they're going to get ready to head down to Tuscaloosa for a big matchup against Alabama, because they never get too high, they never get too low. It's all about the next challenge, the next game, the next opponent, the next day. It's tunnel vision. And it's that focus that's gotten them back to where they are right now. It's dug them out of that hole and brought them back onto the national spotlight where this team belongs. How long are they going to keep it rolling? Wake up and look at those net rankings tomorrow. People have been a little bit ticked off about where Arkansas has been throughout this run. I think they were at 37 or something. You'll be happy with where Arkansas is tomorrow. You'll be happy when those new bracketology projections come out tomorrow, the next day, throughout the course of the next week. But the job's not done. 7 games left in the regular season. Let's see what this group can do. But tonight, you got to enjoy it because it was a special one in Bud Walton Arena. It's been Curtis Wilkerson with HawgSports. We'll catch you soon.